This A-Spec model is not the top trim level, so there are going to be a couple features missing that you would get on the Advance. But let's take a look at what you do get. The door panel will be made of soft touch plastic on the top, leather on your armrest, and red contrast stitching, real metal speaker grills, this interesting aluminum trim. You have 3-person memory seats, and there is a good amount of storage down below. Taking a look at the seats, these will be made of real leather and microfiber in the middle. You also get red contrast stitching, and these will be 12-way power adjusting. Getting in is really easy, and there is one A-Spec touch that you don't get anywhere else. You have aluminum titles. You actually will get this on the Type S. I'm going to correct myself on that. Taking a look at the steering wheel, we have perforated leather on the sides, a nice sporty touch, red stitching, and you also get A-Spec branding and a flat bottom. This will also be power tilts and telescoping. The gauge cluster will be full digital, and it actually changes the look if you change drive modes. So you see, Sport is the most different one from the rest, and you also can change the style if you scroll down here, push the button, and you can go to Advanced, which is this one, or Crafted, which is the regular one. We will leave it in Advanced for now because that's something that you don't see all the time. Taking a look at materials, Acura is doing a great job on this part. You have leatherette along the top, the same aluminum trim. It has a very interesting texture actually. A lot of gloss black. This looks fancy at the dealership, but over time it gets scratched up and a bunch of fingerprints get on there. You have all of your gloss black here, plastic along the center console, and you also have some aluminum right here. Taking a look at storage, there isn't that much, but it will beat out competitors like the Audi Q7. 2 cup holders right here, a little storage area right here. It won't fit a Pro Max iPhone, but it will fit a regular iPhone. This is what the key fob looks like. There is no remote start on this A-Spec model. You will have to jump up to the Advance for that, but I do believe that there is an option, a couple $100s. You also will have 2 center consoles, so you have a shallow area right here. You can put maybe a couple pens there, and maybe a full-size Skittle pack. Open that up, you get a little bit of storage. This will beat out the Audi Q7 because that has a super shallow storage area. You have a 12-volt socket, USB port for your wireless, Apple CarPlay. If you want to have it wired, then that's what that is for. Taking a look at the climate controls, the buttons will be in full gloss black, and you get tri-zone climate control across the board. I wish that they would add 4-zone climate control like you get in the Lincoln Aviator and Audi Q7. But as for this MDX, the toggles have a very nice sound, and you have a little animation if you toggle it up or down. You also get 3 stages of heated seats and ventilated seats, and you can also turn on auto, which will adjust the seat temperature based on the weather outside. Now if you turn this, you can adjust the drive modes, which is a very prominent place to put this. When you do so, you will have a very interesting animation that appears on the screen, and you also have an interesting sound. Speaking of the screen, it is all controlled with this touchpad down here. You push the home button to go home, we're already there. You can also push the back button to go back to where you were, and you also have a split screen on the right side. You can scroll through different things like audio, the time, and navigation. This is a very interesting setup. It's not a touchscreen, but I'll teach you how to use the touchpad. So if you go to the top left corner of the touchpad, that will bring you to navigation. Just make sure you click down on there. Now, you don't have to swipe over like a mouse to go find wherever you want. You just touch the relative position on the touchpad, and that will bring you to whatever app you want to go to. Of course, you have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, or you can use the USB cable if you prefer that, and you also have a Wi-Fi hotspot. You also have this wireless charger down here, which you can use while using wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. I haven't noticed this, and we never used it, but you do have a pop-up USB and USB-C, which is a very nice design. Because if you don't want to see two USB ports just sitting there, you can just cover it up by pushing that button down. Taking a look up top, you don't have a digital rear view mirror, but you do have a full panoramic sunroof up top that lets in a good amount of light. Now let's take a look at the front passenger side and see what we're going to get. The door panel will be basically the same with the soft touch plastic up top, aluminum trim, red stitching, metal speaker grille, and some storage down below. The seats will also be basically the same with the microfiber and the leather, and they will be 12-way power adjusting. Amenities on the front passenger side include a 12-volt power socket to keep everything plugged in, a glove box with plenty of space and a nice felt lining to keep everything safe, and if you close that up, you'll find lots of leatherettes and some stitching to rest your knee against. That's what you get on the front passenger side, but what about the rear seats? The rear seats are a very important element to the MDX being a family crossover. The door panel will have sunshades built in, which is very nice, and basically the same materials like this aluminum, soft touch plastic at the top, and stitching, power windows, leather on your armrest, and a good amount of storage down below. These seats will be the same leather and microfiber suede material, and they will slide and recline. Now inside the MDX, the legroom actually isn't too bad. With this seat slid almost all the way back, I still have about 2 inches of legroom, which is pretty impressive. This is on par with the Audi Q7 and surprisingly on par with the Lexus TX. You also get a seat back pocket, this whole thing will be covered in plastic, and you will find your third zone of climate control right here. If you take a look down here, you're going to find a power outlet, 2 USB ports, and a household style outlet if you choose the advanced model. The MDX also has a feature that none of the competition offers. The only other car that has it is the mainstream sibling, the Honda Pilot. If you pull this tab, that's going to fold the seat down into a center console. A lot of cars have this, such as the Tesla Model X. That will give you 2 cup holders and a big storage area. But you can completely remove the middle seat just by pulling another tab. This will give you the versatility of having captain's chairs, a center console, or the full 7 seats. Now let's take a look at the third row, because this is the whole point of buying an MDX in the first place. Access into the third row is super easy, you're just going to push that button and that will slide the seat out of the way for you. Now that will give you a good amount of space to get into the third row, and this is super easy for little kids because there are no complicated latches or levers to deal with. The leather in this MDX is actually going to be fake and not the same as the front 2 rows. Also, you're in this upright position because there is no reclining or anything like that. The legroom back here is fine. It's not going to be the best for taller people, but I'm sure most kids will be fine back here. I can slide my feet underneath the seat, and as far as amenities go, both sides will get a plasticky armrest and a cup holder. One nice thing is that there is a felt material on the sides of the third row, but no MDX will get vents, and only the advanced models will get a USB port. Now let's take a look at the cargo area, because this is also a very important part of owning an MDX. Opening up the tailgate, you're just going to push the button because there is no hands-free access on this A-Spec, and behind the third row you're sitting at 16.3 cubic feet of cargo room. You also will get a cubby on the left side, and you're going to have a 12-volt outlet to plug anything in. There is also a walk-away close function on the advanced model. Now you can also fold down the third row very easily. There are 2 latches, and then you're just going to pull on that. The headrest is going to fold down, and it's pretty simple to just push it down. A power third row would have been nice, but that is just one more thing that has to break. With the third row down, you're getting 39.1 cubic feet, but with all the rows down, you're getting 71.4. That is on par with the Audi Q7, but quite a bit less than the Lexus TX. As far as some other features back here, you do get plenty of underfloor storage, and you can actually take off the lid and flip it around to reveal a plastic side. This isn't very pretty, but it's very practical if you think about it. If your family goes to the beach, you can put all of your standing gear on here so that the carpet doesn't get messed up. Also, you can take the lid and put it at the bottom of the underfloor storage. That way, your groceries or whatever you have sliding around in the trunk won't slide around as easily.